right, welcome back to Teacher Talk episode 4. Today we are here with...
I'm Chef.
All right. And teach the culinary class, they all cook and everything, so we're just going to be asking them a few questions about culinary and how it all works. So what interested you in being the culinary chef?
Well, I started my culinary career when I was like around 12. I started cooking with my grandmother a lot, and that just inspired me to cook. So I really enjoyed it, and I just decided to go into the field. But after all the years of culinary working in the field, I fell in love with teaching part of it, and now I teach culinary.
Right, and how long have you been the culinary teacher here at Dakota?
Full-time this is my 6th year.
And how have you liked it so far? Is it fun? Any negatives?
No, actually I love it quite a bit. When I was at my last job, I taught a lot of newcomers. That was their first job, and I taught them all about sanitation and safety and all this other stuff and cooking. And I actually did career day over at the 9th grade center for Laura Theo, who was my teacher back over in Chippewa. And she actually substituted the teacher that was supervising the room for a potty break. And one of the students asked what I would do if I wasn't cooking. I was like, well, I'd probably teach culinary. So she actually called me up a month later and said, hey, there's a part-time position, would you be interested? And I just really fell in love with it, and I enjoy teaching the students and watching them grow from their culinary skills, and it's been fun ever since. No negatives.
And so let's say is someone who works in a kitchen, is there like anything different between actually cooking like in a school between actually having a job like in culinary?
Really good question. The school atmosphere we do here is actually we run a restaurant here to give the student as much realistic opportunity as possible. Just that it's probably going to be a little bit more faster paced at the restaurant. So they will have a lot more time limits to say, well, you need to dice that onion, and we need a gallon of diced onion within like 5 minutes, and you have to get it done within those 5 minutes. Here we're practicing, we're refining our skills and developing good habits, and then that will help them in the restaurant when they go out there.
Okay, and do you know how many of your students would you say roughly maybe came out of this class loving culinary and they like actually get a career path?
I think last year was my most successful. I probably have at least 6 culinary students that actually went to college for it. But what's great about culinary is it's a life skill as well. So even though that they might not go into culinary, they can use it to help support their families.
And what would you say is probably the most important lesson to learn from culinary?
Boy, there's so many. But I think the main thing is actually sanitation, because we don't want to get anybody sick. And if you're in the restaurant and you get somebody sick, if you get somebody sick, then your business can go downhill very quickly.
Okay. And what would you say are positives of working with high school students?
The most positive part is actually just watching them grow. I mean, it's neat to influence their lives as far as learning, and because I bet you if I went to your kitchen and cooked with you, I learned something new about you. And I think that's one of the really good things I love about culinary too, is because food really brings people together.
And are there any negatives to teaching high school students?
I have not had any. I've enjoyed my 6 years here. It's been just a great experience overall.
And what would you say, as your 6 years here, is probably like your most memorable moment being the culinary chef?
I think it had to be the first time that we started competing. After the first year, we started competing in the ACF competition, and we actually did really well. We took home golds, we took home some silver, took home some bronze. Then I had 2 female students that did the best cooking in Macomb County, and we took first and second in that category, which was awesome.
Wow, okay. And teaching high school students, there can be distractions. Are there any distractions in culinary?
Oh, there's always distractions, especially when we have good food to eat. So, I mean, it's a great chance just to get camaraderie and stuff like that around with the students, because we do Chippewa and Dakota students here in this classroom. So, to me, again, I think this is food brings them together.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is a big distraction.
What kind of dishes do you make?
Yeah, like what is your most popular dish you'd say that you make?
Well, we do a little bit of everything, but because the year 2 students make the menu, so they have to cost it out and implement a prep list and all that other stuff, and then we look at it a couple times a year and stuff like that, tweak it to see what's selling and what's not selling. But like we also work with the language arts departments, like we do German Week, Spanish Week, and then French Week. We also do stuff with Black History Month. So there's a lot of different ethnics that we do as far as ethnicities. Like one of our students, Marios, we just made a huge batch of doma, which is absolutely fantastic. That's a stuffed grape leaf. So we do a lot of variety of things. We don't just do specific things all the time.
Okay.
How would you say that the culinary experience is more realistic? Like, what's the realism that you get out of it?
Well, the realism
would you say?
is because we actually run a restaurant. So we do serve guests that come in. We have parents that come in. We do serve students. So they have to have the food ready, because if you're on lunch, you only have so much time to eat lunch, right? So they have to get it out in a reasonable amount of time. They have to make sure they have to watch your sanitation. And that's in the case with any restaurant. So the parameters that we set forth is good habits. We practice knife skills on how to hold your knife correctly so you don't cut yourself. Making sure we cool things down properly, make sure we heat things up properly, and just lots of good habits when you're in the restaurant industry.
Do you have a favorite dish that you've made?
Wow. See, I think that's unfair too, because I just love food in itself. But I love learning anything that I haven't cooked before. Just like when Marios brought the doma here, I never made doma before. And it's such a great experience. He gave me the honor of, in his culture, it's an honor to flip the doma from the pot onto the tray and then lift it up. And he gave me that honor. He videotaped it, posted on his social media stuff. So that was really exciting for me as well.
That's cool. And we're coming up to the end of the episode here. So one thing we like to do with the student talk that he runs and teacher talk that I am now running is we like to ask, what is some advice that you would give to incoming high school students that maybe want to try culinary, or just any advice at all?
Well, if you decide to go into culinary, I mean, definitely pay attention to your math. And I'm not saying this because I'm a teacher either, but because I've been in the industry for quite a long time. And so math skills are very important, because you need to know how much money you're making and how much money you're spending. Nutrition is a big part of it, because people are very aware of what's going into their bodies nowadays. And then again, just have fun with culinary. It's just a great field, and there's so many different options out there, because even if you find out that you don't like to cook anymore, there's so many options that you can do. You can general manage over at a hotel, which they have lots of opportunity over there. You can book functions, you can be a private chef, anything and everything. So it's a great field.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview.
All right, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.